just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that I'd just drop by and let you know that I'm leaving town tomorrow. I'll cause you no more sorrow. I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. I brought the money like the lawyer said to do. It won't replace all the heartaches I've caused you. It won't take the place of loving you, I know. I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go.
Good morning and welcome back to the channel, Grand Colombia, and welcome to another Coffee Time Live. I don't know if we're going to have any viewers today. In my hustle and bustle this morning, going in 15 different directions, I forgot to post up the video so that people would know. So we'll see. Usually what happens if I forget, which I do it every so often, is everybody shows up. They just show up a little late. So today we got Robert. He's going to be our guest. I'll have him come in a few minutes. And let's see. We've got Juka, pre-video. Send his contribution. Thank you very much. And Jerry, Anonymous. Also sent a contribution before we got started. Thank you very much. Steve, good morning from Dakota del Sur, South Dakota. Good morning. And Jukka, greetings from Finland, the NATO country. And Dennis. How you doing, Dennis? Let's see. There we go. I'm using different software. I've got different methods of checking things and just trying to make sure everything's cool. I can't see the count of people watching though, which I kind of miss that. When I have the other software, I always know how many people are online watching, and with this one, I don't get anything about that. I can't see the number of likes, so that's something, I guess. Jerry, good morning, Glendale, Arizona. I'll be seeing you this week, right? 23 are watching now. Wow, that's less than half of the usual, but that's I'm not surprised. 21 now. Yeah. So we'll see. In another 5-10 minutes, you're probably going to see 50 or 60, the way it usually goes. I can't see myself, which is the only reason I'm talking about it. Let's see. Thursday at 1 p.m. when I arrive. Awesome. I'm ready. I've been house hunting or apartment hunting. I think I found one, and I went a different route this time. And so I'll wait and see if everything comes together this coming week. And if so, I have some cool stuff to talk about next Sunday. Let's see. Bit of bad news. Inflation's hitting hard in Colombia now. And there's about half of the people that are unemployed, which is 40% higher than normal. That's huge. Well, I shouldn't say unemployed. I should say poverty. Not unemployed, but poverty, because wages aren't going up at all. but prices have been going, they're like 25, 50%, some things 100%. Even gas has gone up a little bit, which, by the way, Robert, when I get you in here, they measure in gallons here. Mike Jarvis, how you doing, Mike? And Judy, good morning, Judy. Okay, so we're gonna get Robert in here. So he went to well, some of you may know, I met Robert, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, and we became friends pretty quickly. And he's still living and working in the United States for the one day. He counts by the days, but 1 year he'll finally make it here. But in the meantime, he'll come every few months for 3-4 days or a week or something like that. And he'll go to different places. Well, this last time around, he went to Baranquilla, place I've never been, and I've always been interested to go, hoping that I would meet Shakira. And he also took a side trip to another town. And so I'm going to bring Robert in, and he'll talk about it. And I'll put the map up on the screen. Good morning, Mr. Robert.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great.
I hear you great. Let me put the map up. Okay, so you flew into Baranquilla. That's the top yellow arrow. It's north of Cartagena, north of Santa Marta, right?
Yeah, it's actually north of Santa Marta and south of Cartagena.
Okay.
I think.
I don't think so, but
No? Oh, okay.
I won't argue.
Opposite.
And the side
Opposite.
trip you went is what, Monteria?
Yeah, Monteria, yeah.
River Mountain. And the
Yeah.
bottom arrow, I'm pointing to where Armenia is, just to give you some perspective. So he's off on the very hot coast of the Caribbean. So start off by talking about the flights and what you had to produce to come into Colombia and then to return to the United States. And then we'll get to the trip.
Okay, so I think officially they still require you to complete the immigration form online, the check MIG form. But I did ask the immigration officials when I got there what the deal was about that, because I was traveling with another American, and he says I never fill that form out. And of course, during the pandemic days, it was obligatory to fill that form out, and the airlines would actually ask you if you had the form filled out, and you had to produce your COVID vaccination card and all that stuff. So I'm in the habit of filling that form out. The form has gotten a little shorter since the pandemic days. And it takes maybe, for me, it takes me like 10 minutes to fill it, or maybe less now. So it's not a big deal to fill the form out, but you used to always have to remember to do it, because if you didn't, they wouldn't let you on the plane. You'd have to fill it out on your phone at the check-in, and that could get pretty that could be a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
So I'm in the habit of doing it, but my buddy said he never did it. So when I was coming in, I asked the immigration official, I said, do you really have to do these things? He says, well, honestly, it depends on the immigration official you get. He says, I never ask for it, but some of my colleagues that are sticklers might ask you for it, or if they're in a bad mood, they might ask you for it or something. So I guess officially, yes, you still have to fill that form out, but chances are that they won't even ask. So I don't know. I fill it out anyway. And then let's see what else. They did not ask me for a COVID card, but in the check MIG, on the check MIG process on the application, one of the questions is, are you vaccinated? So I don't know, but no one asked me coming or going, returning back to the U.S. I can't even remember if I had to fill a form out coming back to the U.S. I don't think I did, but nobody asked me for the COVID vaccination this time. So
Good.
I think it's one of the first times.
I'm glad to see that dying on the vine. It was just nonsense. We can even say that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And flying to Barranquilla was easy because I live in Miami, and Barranquilla being like one of the northernmost cities, it was an hour and 50-minute flight, Spirit. So it was quick and easy.
So how was Baranquilla? Tell me about it. What was your impressions? Your first time there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have to preface it by saying I was only there for 4 days, and who knows, what percentage of the city I saw, maybe 20% or something. I like to walk like you do. I walked all over the place, but I also Ubered and taxied, and I actually flew there with a friend who lives here in Florida with me, but he grew up in Barranquilla. So he also showed me a lot of little haunts. So I liked Barranquilla. Again, prefacing this by just saying that every trip to Colombia is great, regardless of where you go.
Speaking of your friend, he got a hotel, and then you got your own place, right?
Yeah, that was actually a different friend, but coworker of mine. Yeah, yeah. Okay. He and I travel quite differently. I travel very simply, and he likes to go kind of first class. So we didn't stay in the same hotel.
Let me show this.
So this is the view from Sal's hotel room. And this is the view from Robert's hotel room window. Beautiful. Wow.
Sweet.
Okay, now, this is the difference between his $62 a night hotel with that view and my $15 a night hotel.
Yeah, and you didn't show inside your hotel, but I mean, I'm sure it had a bed and a window, and you're only there to sleep anyway. No
sorry,
window?
no bed.
Oh, come on.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really nice. The hotel was nice. I liked it.
How was the traffic there?
Yeah. So my general impressions of Barranquilla. Now I've been, let's see, where have I been to in Colombia now? I've been to Cali and all through the cities in Cali, like Palmira and Buga and Tuluá. So I've been to Valle. Of course, I've been to Armenia many times. I've been to Manizales. I've been to Medellin many times. I've been to Cartagena a couple of times. So Barranquilla, my first impressions were that it's a little bit behind those cities as far as infrastructure and the way they do things. Like a much greater percentage, for example, much greater percentage of the sidewalks were broken and just in really bad repair. And there were a lot more abandoned properties, homes, businesses, and things like that. Probably more poverty, I guess, in Barranquilla than some of these other places I've been to. Cali's got a big, Cali's kind of got a lot of poverty too, but I'd say as a percentage of the city, it doesn't look like that compared to what I felt in Barranquilla. Let's see. And of course, I noticed that there weren't a lot of, as far as infrastructure goes, the traffic was not as well organized, for example.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
So here's how traffic works here in Barranquilla. There are no stop signs, and there are no lights. So everyone they try and get in whenever they can. And it creates, look at that, people just try and scoot the front of their car in when they can, but there's no rhyme or reason. No stop sign.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw that all over the place. It was crazy.
Well, I suppose if you live there, you kind of get used to it, and you come up with unspoken rules or something. But I'm glad we have lights here in Armenia.
Yeah. Like even Armenia, a smaller city like that, seemed much more organized to me than Barranquilla. And Barranquilla, of course, is an older city probably, or it's so much larger. The roads are quite narrow for the amount of traffic and stuff. It's a big city, of course, so the traffic was bad, and it's really hot. So you really feel when you're walking around. It's like being in Cartagena or something like that. It's hot.
And let's see, when you did the fish lunch, that was in Barranquilla?
No, so from Barranquilla, what we did is my friend who lives in Florida with me, his best friend lives in the city of Monteria. Monteria as you saw on the map, is southwest, and it was a 6-hour car ride from Barranquilla. And I had never heard of Monteria, really, but they kept saying I should go. It was a really pretty city, and I was like, yeah, someday I'll make it there. But finally, during this trip, I said, let's go. And I just thought it was some little backwater. And I looked at the population, and I know Armenia's got like, I want to say 300 or 325,000 people. Monteria has 400,000 people, so it's bigger than Armenia, and that was surprising. And again, it was a 6-hour trip, and we got there, and it's you feel like you're in the jungle, kind of. You kind of are in the jungle, but it's, you know, Monteria is the capital of the department of Cordoba. When Cordoba is known for cattle grazing, I guess there's a lot of big cattle farms there. And as a matter of fact, the friend of my friend, their family made their money. They had a huge cattle farm, and he's actually still running that. But he has a super nice apartment in the city in Monteria. But Monteria is really nice. I really liked it. Very, very low traffic. A lot of the streets are built very wide, so you have a feeling of space in the city. And there's also a lot of open space and parks and a lot of like greenery. Very different feeling from a lot of Colombian cities that I've been to.
Is there much modern there?
There is, yeah. And you have a feeling when you're in Monteria, everyone says it, and when you're there, you feel it. I don't know how to explain it, but you feel it. It's a city with a lot of potential, and you can tell people have plans for that place. They're buying up properties, they're building businesses, and apparently everyone I talked to there, and I actually struck up a relationship with a couple of cops there. I don't know if you have that picture or not to show, but everyone told me that there's low crime there. They said you're out here, you're quite out in the middle of nowhere, kind of, and we just don't have those problems. Of course, there is no international airport yet in Monteria, so that's maybe one factor. I didn't see any gringos. I don't remember seeing any foreigners, but there probably were. But I did. I met a couple, but I didn't see them wandering the streets. I met them up at one of my friend's house, and they love it there.
All right. Well, let me play a couple of these other clips. The river walk and the ferry. Yeah. I'm going to play those now.
All right. So this is actually fish, rice. This is a catfish. Yep. And that's like yuca and plátano, banana, arroz con coco. Arroz blanco, arroz con coco. Normalmente lleva un color, ¿no? Cuando tiene arroz con coco, no tiene un color normalmente.
Sí, es coco. Hay también otro que es más claro, oscuro.
Another piece of fish. So this is the river walk. It's one of the longest nature river walks. The river's right down there, and there's a place to walk and run, stuff like that. I think it's like 5 kilometers, maybe even longer. Really, really nice along the river. Jogging, walking, all that stuff. There's monkeys and squirrels, sloths. So here on the river, I don't know if you can see the ropes, but the ropes are attached, and the little lanchitas, little boats, are hooked to those, and they pull them across. There's another one getting pulled across right here. The people live on the other side of the river.
No motor, right? No motors.
And they have no motors. So how do they propel themselves?
Rope.
Estamos aquí, motor taxi. Por eso tuve que nos viéramos hoy, porque es el mismo día acá. Si estás disponible para verme hoy o no. Me dejas saber, ¿ok? Mira el gringo perdido buscando monos. No he encontrado ni un mono todavía. All right, so they told me that they're orange howler monkeys, and they're telling me they're a little further down here. So we're gonna keep walking, see what we find. Wow, look at the size of these iguanas, guys. Huge, huge suckers, and they're having their lunch or their dinner. Look at them all. I don't know if you guys can see them. You guys see those? Look at them all. Oh, wow, they're all over the place. And I can hear the monkeys. There's a huge statue. This is Jose Maria Cordova Munoz. This state, or what they don't call them states, they call them departamentos. And this departamento was named after that guy. Like, this state was named after that guy. So, I'm still looking for the monkeys in the trees. We'll see if we find some monkey.
Did you ever find a monkey?
Not that day, but I did see them. I saw a couple of them from a distance. Beautiful, big, bright orange.
You know, we've got them here.
Do you really, in Armenia? Really?
Not in Armenia, because they don't really like to hang out in the city, but on the way to Pareda, and especially there's a huge state park just east of Pareda. It's gigantic. It's about the size of Quindío, maybe bigger, and that place is loaded with howler monkeys.
Okay, cool. Didn't know that.
So the comment, it looks too hot.
Yeah, good point. It is really hot in Monteria. But what was really interesting to me, and I'm not really sure why, is if you're in the shade, it's cool. The difference is amazing. Like here in Florida, of course, in the summer, the humidity is so bad, whether you're in the shade or not, you're sweating pretty much. But when I was there, I was impressed that you just find if you're walking on a sidewalk and it's shaded, I wasn't sweating at all, believe it or not. So that part of it was really surprising to me. Like when I was walking during that park where all the trees are and stuff, I wasn't hot at all. So it was interesting.
It may have something to do with the kind of foliage that's there that tends to retain water. I think it makes it a little cooler. Trees in and of themselves will usually make it a little cooler, but depending on what kind of trees they are, it can make a difference in the temperature. Or so I've been told, and it kind of makes sense. When you look at the trees in that park, they're very tropical, but they're very lush. They really fill out. And
there is a nice breeze in that city too. It's still part of I guess they still consider that part of the coast, and it's flat. Everyone's pretty flat. Especially if you're in a higher building or whatever, the breeze is really nice. So
yeah, part of the routine here, one of the reasons that north part of Armenia, even though we're very far from the coast, is that the mountains actually draws from the coast, and it gets that perpetual breeze going. Now, depending on what ranges it's going over, that's why South Armenia doesn't really get much of a breeze, because the wind that's coming from there hits a mountain range that actually kind of redirects it. So it kind of blocks the wind, where here in Armenia, even though, you're a kilometer difference, it's coming kind of a straight shot.
Uh-huh.
So there, it's just, the mountain action's causing that breeze, and it's just flat.
Yeah.
Then you got the river. That's a pretty good sized river.
Yeah, it's called River Sinu, and it is quite large. It doesn't look great. It's full of sediment. It's brown. But people are fishing, swimming in it all the time. And I'm not sure if they know like upstream, downstream and stuff, because I saw parts outside of Monteria where the river didn't look very healthy to me. But people were still swimming in it, and like even my friend's friend, he's like, "Come on, let's go swim in the river." But he also had a pool, so we were like, maybe next time. So God knows what's in that river.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say Colombia's third world, but that's a third world issue there. You travel around to countries like Thailand or the Philippines or some places where, they never came out of the Stone Ages. You're going to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But hell, they're all immune to it.
Yeah.
We go in there and break out in 18 different diseases.
That's true too. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm only going to be here a few days. It's probably not worth subjecting myself to something.
So what's your assessment? Would you return to Baranquilla? Was there anything there that drew your interest or make you want to go back and explore something else? You know, what was your thought on it?
I can say it looks like they're really trying to develop it more as a tourist area because it's got potential. It's right on the River Magdalena there, big river, and Barranquilla has the biggest port in Colombia. So the city is really a port city. It's a working man city. It's not a tourist destination so much, except for Carnival, as most people know. Barranquilla supposedly puts on the best carnival every year. But other than that, now, I guess the river was never developed. It was just all like, what do you call it? Like, not almost like swampland going all the way out into the river from the city. And it was never developed, never taken advantage of. And they finally did build a big malecón there. And it's really pretty. It's big, it's wide, and people go out there and use it. It's still got a feeling of being very, very new. They have little food stands and stuff like that. So it's really well done, but it's all brand new. The only problem with it is that river, but it's not necessarily the river, but again, it's built kind of like on the, what do you call it, the marshes or whatever it is that leads up to the river there. There's a bad odor in the air, the river itself. So you're walking and running along this nice area, and it kind of really doesn't smell that great. So, but I guess you can get used to it. So I probably would not go back to Barranquilla just to go back. I might go during Carnival or something like that, but there's so many other great places in Colombia. Now Barranquilla has its nice areas. I saw some of the nice areas are beautiful, well developed, and it's an up and coming city. They're trying to do a lot of improvements, but so far I think it still lags behind other places I've been to.
Now you haven't gotten to Bucaramanga yet.
I have not. No.
Don't they have a direct flight now?
Yes, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, you'll have to put that on your list.
Yeah, I think I will. Definitely. I'm headed back to Medellin 15th of June to the 20th of June. Got to do my couple of Medellin trips a year. So
why?
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I get it. And you live a more robust life than I live.
I don't know. I just like the feeling. I like the feeling and the energy of the city.
Somebody says smells like swamp.
Yeah, that's it. That's the perfect. It does smell like that. I don't know if anyone here has been to Barranquilla and has been on that malecón, but it looks really pretty though. And at night it's nice, and there's always a breeze out there, so it's nice and cool in the evening. That's the one thing about Barranquilla at night. It was really nice. But Monteria, I would definitely recommend everybody check it out. It's maybe I just haven't traveled enough in Colombia to know, but to me, it's got a very distinct feeling, very positive energy. It's a clean city. There's low crime. You're kind of isolated, so you're away from a lot of the tourists. They're typically really touristy things that you would find in a lot of other places. You feel like you're on the coast, even though you're not really on the coast. I think the closest beach is an hour and a half, 2 hours away. But friendly, people were super friendly, and they weren't jaded at all. So
nice.
I had a great time.
Well,
you have the video. Were you going to show the video of the apartment? That really nice apartment that I stayed in? No,
I wasn't.
Okay,
It's just an apartment.
But yeah, except it has the view of the river. It looks really nice. That it's a corner lot, and you can see the river going around the building. It's really
they
pretty. Saw it
on when you were on the hammock on the balcony.
Yeah.
Or the patio.
Yeah, that's that.
You could see the river there. So
some really great, and the outskirts of Monteria, like you get to the edge of the city, and it's very different because most of Colombia is very mountainous. So the view of you see when you're leaving a town or whatever is basically just winding through mountains to get to the next town. But because it's flat out there, that city does have an edge to it, and so it's all country. It's from as far as you can see. There's like cattle and stuff, flat lands out there, and the edges of the city are really, really nice. Those neighborhoods, they're well developed with big wide streets, and there's, like I said, there's still a lot of potential for building homes and development and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Well, it's really hot.
Yeah.
So your next trip is Medellin, just a palate cleanser.
I'm going with some coworkers who have never been to Colombia, actually. So it'll be fun to show them around a little bit.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah.
Jerry will be here Wednesday or Thursday, 27th, and with a friend, and I'll be showing them around for a few days. So that'll be cool. And there's actually a couple other people that are going to be in Armenia later this week. So I'll meet up for, coffee or something. So all that's good. Maybe I can get a couple of them together and meet each other. What the heck are you doing?
Well, I just wanted to say that you're not you're not the only one that can wear a cool hat. Okay.
Yeah.
During Coffee Time Live. So
did somebody give you that? You didn't pay money for it.
Well, there's a story behind this. When I was in Medellin, I was telling you it was so freaking hot. I just had to get something. So I thought I would help their economy out and,
buy
this beautiful hat.
Buy the most absurd one you could find on the rack.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
Look at me. I'm a tourist. I'm sure you wore your cargo shorts and backpack too.
Well, in the big, don't you like the tassel? The tassel is the best part.
Yeah. It's classy. Well,
but
I got tassel.
Okay. So the best part though is that, the first couple of days you're like, oh man, I don't want to stick out like a tourist. And then after a few more days, it's so freaking hot. You're like, I don't care what I look like as long as I'm comfortable, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Yeah. So.
We hit a record, and you can find it in the newspapers and stuff a few days ago. And you've been watching for a long time, and this came up a couple of years ago where we had a heat wave, and it got up to somewhere in the low 80s, and that was a record high.
Wow.
And I had people arguing with me, saying, well, I looked on the internet and da 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 da. It's like, well, I live here. I know, know.
Yeah. Typical.
But this record was, what the heck was it? It was 83 or 84 degrees. All-time high here in Armenia. So those people are, that I'm stirring it up again. That a couple years ago, when I said it was like 82 or something, and they said I was crazy, it was 88 degrees and like that. It's like, no.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm sure you stayed home inside in the air conditioning that day. Man, oh man.
Well, I don't have AC, but I got fans, and actually I didn't notice it. Yeah, I mean, when you're in the shade, it's nothing, because especially right now, I don't know if you're aware, but we're going through a period of pretty severe sun radiation.
Oh, no.
Very much higher than what it typically would be.
Yeah.
And I think it goes on for another week or two. It's been happening for a while. And when that happens, when you're in a place like near the equator, you're out in the sun. I mean, it will fry you. It will cook you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty serious issue.
Yep.
But, in the shade, it's awesome.
Speaking about your place, how is your apartment search going? Have you been doing anything more on that?
Yeah, I think I got one, but I'll have to wait till next week, because I'm not sure. But if it comes through, I've got a lot to talk about on it. Barranquilla has some good nightlife, music spots, some historical places. Like Robert said, it's a working man's city, not really too touristy.
Yeah.
Will be great to finally meet you. Well, hold that thought. Coffee, lunch, a must. Would love to meet some other people too. And wonder how you enable to travel to Colombia so often. Is 365, because he works for the government. Explains that they're asking for health insurance still, even on a tourist visa. Oh,
yeah, I never get insurance when I go. I never have, and I've never been asked about it.
Yeah, the insurance or for people that are actually moving here, you have
Right.
to have it for the visa process. But when you're coming on the 90-day stamp, it's no. I'll be in touch regarding consultation. Would love to meet some of the other people from Coffee Time. Well, yeah, email me, tell me how long you're going to be here, what the deal is. Let's see. Did I miss anything? I think that's basically it.
Hi, I want to say hi to my friend Mike Jarvis. Is he on today?
He commented earlier.
Okay, cool. There's some good people in Coffee Time. All the ones I've met, really nice. So
yeah, very chill group of people.
yeah.
A couple years ago, there were a couple bad apples, but we dropped them like a hot potato, and
Yep.
everybody's been pretty awesome. All right, well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Anybody else, especially over the next month or so, I still have a subscription on this software, and to do a 2 people or 3 people or whatever, it's real useful. Mike is saying, good to see you, Robert. Well, let me put it up on the screen. There you go.
All right, Mikey. Fellow Vermonter.
It's funny. Everybody wants to visit Mike when they're here. I've
Oh,
taken
man.
a few out there. It's like,
Yeah, well, the combination of being in that great little town, in that amazing apartment, and he's just like the nicest guy you could ever meet. I mean, without a doubt. Salt of the earth.
yeah, all of that. Yeah, that's one hell of a view he's got.
Yep.
Yeah, I live out there. There was a place available, but it was only a 2-bedroom, and I need, I got.
The internet connection.
Well, I hear that they've got fiber, or they're going to have it soon, or something.
Oh, okay.
It got wired up pretty quick here, because 2 years ago is when it hit here, and now every place I've looked at has fiber optic available. And they went
good.
from a high of 300 up to a high of 600.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is ridiculous because, I'm on, well, I pay for 200, but they keep extending me to 300. I don't know why. Like every time they have some special thing, they don't just give it to the new signups, they give it to everybody.
Right.
Like in the US, you have to be a new sign up to get the advantage of something, right? Well, here they give it to the new signups and everybody else.
Okay.
So I pay for the 200, but I keep getting the 300. But even when it drops to the 200 for a week, it's more than you need. I mean, I can stream on 3 different TVs and upload videos and all kinds of stuff all at once. So
Cool.
600, I can't imagine why. Robert, you're a Vermonter. Me too. Brattleboro.
Cool. Turtle. We have a lot of turtles in Vermont. I grew up in Manchester Center between Bennington and Rutland.
Yeah, he's the guy who moved from Manizales to Bucaramanga.
Oh, perfect. He's living there now. I'll have to visit him when we head to Bucaramanga.
Yeah, living in a very nice part of town. One of my there's 2 areas that I really like, and he's living in one of them.
Oh, nice.
Got fiber optic last week. Well, there you go.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I thought it was either pending or he had it. So, okay. All right. So we'll see if there's any other questions here, and then I'll let you get on with your day. I know you've got a cat to take care of.
Oh, Isla La Motte, Vermont. I guess that's where Mike's from. I never heard of it. It's probably up towards Burlington. He probably told me. I don't remember. But when we get together, we start talking like the Vermonters up there. When the 3 of us get together, we start talking just like this. Is what we do.
Turtle, my home is your home.
Thank you.
That means you get to pay the rent.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Last call for any questions, and then we'll get on with the day. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Girls in Barranquilla, same price. I don't think I had to pay for any girls in Barranquilla, although I did meet some nice girls. As a matter of fact, I wish Lauren had sent that picture. I have a funny story. There were 3 police women. They were transit police. They're all dressed up, and any of you who have been to Colombia may have seen them. Some of them are absolutely beautiful. They're stunning. And I was walking down the street, and I think I was just asking them a question about where to go for lunch or something. And I got into a conversation, and 3 policewomen were around me. And then I asked them, I said, is there any law against us taking a picture, a selfie together? And I'm like, no. And they're all posing. You know, they wear makeup and stuff, even when they're on the job. And very nice. And then one of the girls was like, do you like Colombian women? And I said, yeah, they're beautiful. She said, well, look at her. Isn't she beautiful? This is one of the policewomen she was talking about. So she was trying to fix me up with her friend. And the friend was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to meet a gringo, and I'd love to travel and see the world and all this stuff. And so anyway, to make a long story short, it started with just being a selfie with me with these 3 policewomen. And it ended with this girl taking my number and then sending me all kinds of pictures and stuff the rest of the day. I never did finally get back together with her, but she seemed very nice, very sweet.
Yeah, I accidentally deleted those when you mentioned it earlier. I went and looked, and I must have deleted them. I couldn't find them. But it's a thing here in Colombia that there's probably half of the police forces are female. And of course, being Colombia, there's a lot of gorgeous police women. And it's a thing here for Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, for the police women to do these little short video clips looking crazy beautiful.
That's what mine did. You see, the thing about Colombian women that you like is they never leave their femininity at home. It doesn't matter what they're doing, whether they're at work or whatever. They're very feminine, you know, regardless.
Yeah, they don't want to be a man, and they don't expect that they're going to go in and do a man's job, but they recognize the strengths that they have, which is kind of refreshing.
Now some realistic. Some of the men want to be women, but you know, that's a different.
Yeah, well, that's your country.
No.
Well, as long as they don't start drinking the Aguila beer, because I actually like that beer.
Aguila, Aguila beer.
Yeah.
God, I love this hat, man. Can you believe I only spent, I think it was like $2-3 on this hat in Baranquilla?
Somehow I believe that.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
You were with me when I got this one, weren't you?
Yes. In Salento or Finlandia?
It was Salento.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't afford it, but it's like that was the hat that I wanted for the videos. That was the one. So it's like I bit the bullet. I don't remember now, but I think at the time it amounted to like $70 or $80 or something.
Well, if something ever happens to it, don't worry.
Not a cheap hat.
I'll be happy to let you borrow this if you need it.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think you're good. What's this? Unlike the wannabe macho women in the USA.
Exactly. That's right.
Females here are exactly like the females when I grew up. You know, they don't take offense at gender roles. They embrace it. You know, they're proud of the roles that femininity brings. They're not trying to be men, and men are not trying to be women. Men here, they probably should take the edge off a little bit because they're so into it's like Middle East. There's a lot of guys that are so into trying to prove themselves macho, and they do stupid things like abuse their women because they think somehow that's macho. You know, so there's definitely an issue there. But on the other hand, it's part of the reason they love Americans so much because, you know, most of us got past that kind of kind of thing long ago. But we're off to a different topic. Yeah, how did I know Mike would make that comment? Here,
What did he say? What did he say? Oh,
there you go.
thanks, Mike.
I can just pick, he's looking at that hat going, there's nothing wrong with that hat. I'd use it, but you got to have
Look at
some
this.
fish hooks in there.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Jesus.
Yeah. I really don't want to say what you look like in that hat. Well, very handsome.
Thank you.
Muy
Can you
guapo.
It was quite ridiculous. I was walking around all of Colombia with this thing.
I know. I'd be so proud. You could have at least got it without the I Heart Colombia.
Well, I figure, Colombians are very proud. So worst
but it
comes to
would
worst,
be-
they'll be like,
It would
Hey,
be
yeah.
not I.
we're so happy that you love Colombia. So.
Okay, if you say so. Or where's his wallet?
That's what that means. Exactly. Look at this.
Ugh. So he wants it Australian style.
Yeah. Is that Australian?
Oh, that's not nice.
No, never. This is my hat, man.
I know. I'm jealous. I'm gonna look for one this week.
Okay.
All right.
Anything other than dumb hat comments?
No, we're gonna wrap it up here. For those who showed up, thank you. Sorry I didn't put out the notifications. I have a feeling that when I go to look at the stats, it probably didn't matter in the end.
I'm going to be
But,
very disappointed if we don't have 30,000 views of this video.
Oh, you'll never get that through me. YouTube will never allow it. Whenever I start getting heavy on the views, they shut the video down for a minute or two. But anyway, thank you. And I'll see you one of these days when you make it back around Armenia.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Thank you. Oh, didn't mean to cut him off there. All right. Last call for questions in general, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Dan, 45 watching now. Well, it's a little light, but I think when I get up over 50 is when YouTube starts throttling me back. And speaking of my subscription watch, I'm at 4,075. That means over the course of a year, I've gotten 75 new subscriptions, which is nearly impossible feat to have so few. But, like I say, they cancel about as fast as they come in. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions, so I guess we're going to wrap it up today. I got a bunch of things to do myself anyway, so I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll tell you about possibly a new apartment. Well, Jerry's got a question. We need to fill out an immigration card to visit. Actually, Robert went over that at the beginning of this video. Check it out. There's the if, ands, or buts. So watch from the beginning and hear what he has to say on it. I don't want to repeat it for everybody else. That's it. So we are out for the day. See you next week.
Oh.